Well, what's up again there, guys? Brian here, the Three Topics Gamer, here to give you another episode of my weekly Q&A titled The People's Questions, where I answer a series of questions that have been sent to me over the past week. This episode was relatively basic. However, I actually did enjoy this question a lot because it did have a lot of Metal Gear Solid style questions. And the anniversary of the Metal Gear Solid series actually happened only a few days ago, so I think maybe that might have had something to do with it. So if that was the reason some of you guys sent in your Metal Gear questions, I really do appreciate that because, Metal Gear is my favorite franchise, so anytime I get asked a question about it, I just can't help but get a little bit excited. So before I start answering guys' questions, I'd just like to thank all of you guys that happened to enter your questions that I'll be answering for this video, as well as all the questions I was able to answer in the comment section of the last video. And there was even, I believe, one or two questions that was answered by somebody else, and I really do appreciate you because, like I said always, if you think you know the answer of what I would say, don't hesitate to answer, because heck, it saves me a lot of time, and it just kind of shows that you guys, are starting to get to know me better, and that's always a plus. So, before again, if you also do happen to enjoy this video by the end, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe and share it to help so you can hopefully help grow the channel. So, starting off with the first question, I really like this question. It comes from Fortune T, and I do believe you are new, so welcome. And you want to know, what is my favorite game for each PlayStation model? Okay, let's go in order. PlayStation 1, gotta go to Final Fantasy 7. PlayStation 2 is Metal Gear Solid 3. PlayStation 3 is Metal Gear Solid 4. PlayStation 4 is... I want to say Persona 5 Royal. I was leaning a little bit more towards God of War, but no, I'm like... That would be number 2. And let's see, PlayStation Portable would be Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops. No, I take that back. Actually, well, it's either Portable Ops or it's Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. It's definitely one of those two games for the PlayStation Portable. But the Vita, that's definitely going to go to Persona 4 Golden Edition. So yeah, that would be my favorite game for each of the individual PlayStation models. Next question comes from Brady Burick. You want to know, what do I think Virgil will do with his life now that he has gotten the power that he always wanted? I think he'll just pull a Vegeta and just work on getting stronger. Virgil is motivated by strength and power, and therefore there's never an end to self-improving and wanting to get stronger. And now that he knows that Dante is kind of also... I mean, here's the thing. I think Virgil and Dante's relationship would be in a better place now, simply because the Dante that Virgil saw when they were 18 is a very different person to how he is in his 40s. Because you have to remember, in Devil May Cry 3, the difference between Dante and Virgil was that Virgil was more embracive of his demonic side, and Dante was more embracing of his human side. But now, at the end of their lives, or technically the latest installment, at their oldest, Dante has accepted his demonic side, which is really all Virgil wanted for him, and vice versa. Virgil has now seen what he is without that human side of him, and he's learned to accept it. So, in a way, both Dante and Virgil have reversed what they were at the beginning of the story. And because of that, they are more or less on even terms, or, better terms than they were when they were younger. And, I think that's a good place for him. And I think the two of them will just continue to grow stronger and stronger. And that's really all you need. I mean, that's all they are as characters. So, yeah, I think they'll just focus on getting stronger and stronger. And heck, he knows that Dante is right there next to him. And I don't think he wants to... And I think, you'll have a sort of Vegeta and Goku like a relationship where one character's a little bit stronger and that motivates the other person to get stronger. So I think, as Dante will get stronger, Virgil don't want to get left in the dust, even though he's the older brother, so he'll be motivated to always be a little bit stronger than Dante, and I think that'll be their relationship moving forward, and that's if we get another game, which at this point, I don't think we need any more games with Dante and Virgil. I think the franchise is in good hands with Nero. I actually would prefer the next game just focus on Nero as a character. I think it's in a good place. Next question comes from the Batman of Neo-Gotham. He wants to know, why do you think there are some people that throw a massive tantrum just because someone else's opinions is different from theirs? Well, Batman, I think people get tantrums because they can't accept the idea that someone else doesn't necessarily agree with what they believe. I mean, that's kind of the point of having an opinion and being, in my case, an American. I think that's kind of one of the best benefits of being an American is that you can have your own opinion and yet you don't have to condemn somebody. I mean, trust me, there's a lot of opinions I have about a lot of things that I know that a lot of you out there disagree with, and that's perfectly fine, just as you guys have opinions on things that I disagree with. But I don't despise you as a person. We agree to disagree, and that's one of the beauties of being not just an American but a human being, is that we can have the ability to have different opinions and think for ourselves instead of all of us just thinking the same way. If we all thought the same thing, I think that would be very, very boring. So I think that's what it comes down to. But I don't think there's ever a reason to just get all angry and condemn someone. That's when I think it goes too far. But yeah, I think that's the main reason. It's just some people just can't accept that someone else thinks differently than they do. So yeah, I think that's my answer. Next question comes from I believe another new person, and your name's a little bit hard to pronounce, but I'll try my best. But you go by the name of Gush Monster. I hope I said that right. And you had an extensive question, and you want to know, what is my take on the rumors that Sony is trying to buy the rights to Silent Hill, Castlevania, and Metal Gear, or they're trying to mend a relationship between Kojima and Konami? Okay, well, I haven't heard any sort of rumors that they're trying to mend the relationship between Kojima and Konami. I doubt that will ever happen. But in terms of trying to get the rights to Silent Hill, Castlevania, and Metal Gear, I have heard that. And I hope it happens, because Konami isn't doing anything with these franchises. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that's a lot of money just sitting there not doing, not just collecting dust. And it's clear that without Kojima's direction, or at least in the Metal Gear side of things, Konami has no idea what to do with this franchise. So why not sell the rights to someone who wants to actually use these properties? I mean, these are well-known, established properties that can make a lot of money, and I'm sure Sony would pay a hefty bargain to get the rights so they can start making more games in these franchises. That's what the fans want. It's a simple game of supply and demand. The fans demand more games. If you supply us, we will give you our money. But that is a concept that Konami just can't seem to figure out because they have no direction of what to do with these franchises. So I do hope the rumors are true. And if by some chance Konami or Sony does get the rights to Metal Gear, I would hope that, Kojima stays away from Metal Gear. He's done with the franchise. Let him move on to other things, and I think let someone else take over the franchise and do something different with it. That's all I ask from Metal Gear. I don't want to see more of the same of what we've already seen before. It's already been done. Let's take it a new direction. At this point, if they do decide to make another Metal Gear game, I want a hard reboot. A hard reboot, as in just make an entirely different setting with new characters and new concepts and new directions and new weapons and just brand new everything. Just take Metal Gear in a whole different direction, and I would totally support that. Next question comes from Artis Gant, and you want to know... Okay, now this question was puzzling to me, but I'll try my best. You want to know, do I believe that Sniper Wolf would have become an ally to Solid Snake if he hadn't given her a merciful death? Okay, here's the problem with this question. Would she have become an ally if he hadn't? Okay, well, the reason he gave her a merciful death was because she was lung shot. She was going to die anyway. So let's say, so the way you've structured your question, you're saying, okay, would she have been an ally if Solid Snake hadn't shot her in the head when she asked to be killed? The answer is no, because she would have been dead. I think what you mean to say is, do I think Sniper Wolf would have been an ally if Snake hadn't fatally injured her? I don't know. Unlikely, because I think, as Sniper Wolf said herself, She wasn't waiting to kill people. She was waiting for someone to kill her. She was a tortured soul that had, been through so much, and very much like Psycho Mantis. These were tortured people who just wanted their suffering to end. And Solid Snake was the one that happened to pull that off. So, no, I don't think they would have been allies. I mean, I think, if anything, Sniper Wolf would have still tried to kill Solid Snake, and then he would have had to have to fight her again and take her out again. So, no, I don't think they would have been allies. That's not how Sniper Wolf works. Next question comes from Alucerna. You want to know another Metal Gear question. What would the Metal Gear franchise be if Solid Snake was dead? Well, Alucerna, technically speaking, if we are going in chronological order here, Solid Snake is technically dead. I mean, I'm one of the few individuals that doesn't like to, say, view something like Metal Gear Revengeance as canon, because I think it kind of messes up the ending of Metal Gear Solid 4 and how it was able to tie everything up in a perfect bow. But if you do continue the story and acknowledge Revengeance as a follow-up to Metal Gear Solid 4, then by that time period, which took place several years after Metal Gear Solid 4, Solid Snake would have been dead by that point. I mean, even with the new strand of Foxdie in his system, Solid Snake only had like maybe another year or two before he would have died. So, I guess Revengeance is what you get with Solid Snake dead, and as far as I was concerned, Revengeance was just fine. You don't need Solid Snake to be in your game to have a pretty damn good time with a Metal Gear game, so honestly, if Solid Snake is dead, things might not be that bad. And next question comes from Sinovic, and he wanted to know, where do you think Big Boss' path would have gone if he had ended up killing Solid Snake at the end of Metal Gear 2? Ooh. Okay, so Solid Snake dies. So Big Boss is... Okay, well, Big Boss is still survives. I think at some point, I think Major Zero, or Zero as he just calls, if he was still conscious, would probably still try. I think he would probably try to get Liquid under his control. With Solid out of the way, the only other genetic son of Big Boss would have been Liquid and Solidus. So, and I think in that sense, he would have probably tried to get Liquid or Solidus to work with him, or at least put them under his direct control, which in a sense he somewhat kind of did a little bit, if you kind of view it in a sense, and then use one of them to try to take out Big Boss. And then from there, the story would definitely make a number of severe changes. I mean, without Solid Snake, maybe the Shadow Moses incident doesn't play out like it does. The tanker incident maybe doesn't play out the way it does. A lot of things wouldn't have happened if Solid Snake hadn't survived the Zanzibar Land riots in Metal Gear 2. So, but yeah, most likely Zero probably would have tried to just use one of the other genetic sons to take out Big Boss. I think that still would have been the goal, because heck, without Solid Snake, you still have options. And the last question of the episode comes from Fanfiction Fanatic 2. And you want to know, what are a few games I would like to see remastered or remade? I would love to see the Dead Space games get remastered, which, we might be getting an update on the Dead Space franchise soon. I would like to see Resident Evil Code Veronica get remade in the same fashion as Resident Evils 2 and 3 before we touch 4. What's another game I would like to see remastered? I would like to see Final Fantasy VIII get remastered or remade in a sense. I don't have as much of a personal connection with 8, so whatever changes they made to it, I probably wouldn't feel as bad as I do with the so-called remake of 7. But, those are just a few to name off the top of my head of games I wouldn't mind seeing get remade again to give me another chance to replay them again. So that about does it for this episode of People's Questions. Again, I want to thank everyone that happened to in your questions. If you guys have any more questions you'd like me to answer in next week's episode, be sure to type them in the comments down below. But make sure you get them into me roughly before next Thursday, before noon, before I start filming the next episode. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you next time.